I don't like to be ignored. I don't like to be ignored. I need you to look at me when I'm talking to you, please.
Let me tell you about this guy.
I'll tell you about this fucker right here.
Yeah. So
I'm not as dramatic as what we're the point that you were trying to make here, but
not quite. But I think get the point across that we're going to be talking about Karens today.
Yep, Karens, all types of Karens, big Karens, small Karens, Karens in general.
Yeah.
So,
but they seem to predominantly come in short cropped blonde hair.
Yes, yeah, as imitated by my look.
Yes, as you can tell, like the short cropped blonde hair that he has on right now.
Yes. Sometimes they come in short cropped blue hair.
Oh, they're the blue hair. You don't.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm going for here.
Blue hair Karens are the kinds that will just like be emotionally unreasonable and cry a lot.
Yeah, they're the ones that actually hit you though.
Oh yeah, and then be stunned when you straight up throat punch them back.
So, Karen, what is a Karen?
A Karen is, gosh, I was thinking like, I want to say middle age, but they're not really limited.
It's not
to
limited
age
age
anymore.
Yeah,
it seems like it used to be
personality.
Yeah, a Karen is this self-entitled, aggressive, almost narcissistic woman who believes her way is the only way that things ought to be.
Yeah, and Mike and I were talking about this a little bit over the last couple of days. We were trying to kind of define, like, okay, where the hell did these people come from? I think we got some notes.
Yeah, we get some notes. I'll grab some notes there. Notes.
Yes. Yeah, so we have some notes. So we were trying to figure out what background does this type of person have to make a Karen? If I'm Karen God and I'm making one of them, what's the recipe for putting one together?
Yeah, so how is that? So we talked about a Karen is either an only child or has like 50,000 siblings.
Yeah, well, it's one or the other, right? So an only child, typically only children have trouble socially because they're kind of given everything. They're the only one. They don't have to share with anybody when they're younger. So they don't want to share when they're older.
And the parents know that's the only one that they're going to have, so they just dote on this girl.
Right.
She's the princess,
right,
and everything she wants, she gets, and she can never do anything wrong when she's growing up.
Right.
It's always the neighbor's kid's fault or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
And then so with the 50,000 siblings, they never get attention. So when they grow up, all they want is attention. They're always looking for ways to get it. And they always had to fight for it when they were growing up.
Which explains everybody in Hollywood.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. What else?
They are unhappy with their current life status.
I think that's like a staple of the Karen, right? They're obviously not happy people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be acting the way that they are.
And it's one of those, no matter if it's a ghetto Karen or a HOA Karen, they're both unhappy with their life.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can never receive enough.
Yeah, and because they are so unhappy, everybody has to be unhappy, right? No matter, you cannot be in a happy situation, especially, and I think you have it in your notes, audibly. If you're audibly happy,
they're not shy about expressing their unhappiness.
Right, with your happiness.
Their dismay. It's like a post I put up on Facebook the other day, and it was like this woman talking to the daughter and says, "Honey, your job is that when you see a man being happy, it's your job to knock that shit off."
Yeah, Karens hate audible happiness. Laughing, being loud and playing, having fun, any type of skateboarding noise whatsoever.
But it is mostly blondes, whether natural blonde or dyed. They tend to go for
It's actually typically dyed, I think.
Yeah, it's not like this platinum blonde. It's always this dirty sandy.
Yeah, the
lawn.
roots are still coming through.
Yeah.
Like it was done at home and not very well. Yeah. And it's always a short haircut for some reason.
Yeah, always a short hair. It's like they want to get in touch with their toxic masculinity.
Yeah. So what else we got there? I think we had a couple more.
I did put down that they're typically founded in gated communities.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. It's typically more when people think of it, they think of the white woman, short blonde hair, acts better than everyone else, posh, like that kind of thing. Acts entitled to their situation and everyone around them.
And you have to dress to a certain standard or above.
Yeah.
Right. So we put down like Karens are triggered by anyone making minimum wage.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. If it's a minimum wage worker, they're automatically on their ass, asking for their manager, telling them how it has to be, telling them that my expired coupon has to work here. My coupon for Taco Bell works at Target. I don't understand. It's a coupon.
Yeah.
They're always that type of person.
Yeah. Karen is the person out there stopping your landscaper from, mowing the lawn because the quiet hours, the landscaping hours at that particular homeowners association starts at 10 a.m. and it's only 9:59.
Yep. Or the Karen that's questioning the guy going into his house because it's somebody my age wearing a hoodie. And you're like, you look like you don't belong here. This isn't your type of neighborhood. You're not allowed to be here.
Yeah.
He's just going into his house, chilling after going to the gym or something like that.
They're very confrontational. They're not shy about letting you know. It's like, your kids are playing in the front yard and you're not in the front yard with them. Somebody could kidnap them. You need to be out in the front yard with your kids or bring your kids inside.
Or it's the opposite. Your kids are playing in the front yard and this is a no front yard cutting policy neighborhood. You're not allowed to be having fun in the front yard where everyone can see it. Get your ass in the backyard.
Your kids at play sign is supposed to be 6 inches away from the leading edge of the sidewalk. This is 3 inches away. I took a tape measure to it.
Right.
You need to fix this right now. I've already sent a text to the leader of the homeowner association, so you're going to be fined.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. So that's what this type of person is. So I had a question for you earlier that we didn't really get into. So Karen is kind of been overall defined by social media, right? That's where she really started getting her attention.
Right. Because, like the TikToks and the YouTube shorts, because people are like, people are genuinely stunned that this person exists.
Right. They're like, wait, who let you out?
And so for the longest time, people were like stunned silent, then became like, oh, I got to get this on video because I need evidence. All my friends are calling me a dirty liar. I need to get this on video.
Right. Exactly. And just kind of exposing them. So obviously, back in the olden days with the chisels and all that stuff, you didn't have social media.
No, we didn't. We had communities that looked out for each other.
Yeah. So I appreciate you trying to dig, but we're not going to go there. So did you have quote unquote Karens when you were a kid? People that acted in this manner?
Not in that manner, so to speak.
Okay.
But we did have our version of Karens.
Okay.
Our version of Karens, you got to remember, like, in the 70s and 80s, women weren't too far removed from just being slapped across the face. So they're not really going to be that aggressive. All right. So they're more complaining. They'll yell at the children, but not the adults.
Okay.
And they usually let the men handle the stuff. And the Karens of my generation were usually single, either like divorced or widowed.
Gotcha.
All right, women living by themselves in this neighborhood. So their husband is gone for one reason or another. It's either because of her attitude or because they died in the Vietnam War. All right. So that's how far back we're going. With those people, as a kid, you always knew who it was. Like, we had hours where there's a house across the street from ours, and on the other side of that house is the park. And so we would cut through the yard to get the park, and she was not pleased with that. I mean, and it doesn't matter how far to the edge of her yard.
Yeah.
Still not happy. There's this other house next to hers, and so you try to do it on there's no fence or anything, so we just presume it's closer to this house than that house, so we did that. get out of the yard, it's not your house.
Mm-hmm.
When Halloween comes along, that's when you're like, oh, we got to watch out for this. Because we're kids, we're still going to ask for candy.
Right, yeah.
But she would actually, and she isn't trying to hurt us, right? But she would actually buy Tootsie Rolls because they're the cheapest, and she would staple them. And it's just clearly obvious, right? That there's this staple in it. She's not trying to hurt us.
Why would she staple them?
To tempt us with candy and then ruin it for us.
Gotcha. Okay. Got it. So it's just, now I have this Tootsie Roll with a staple in it. It's
right.
Be a pain in the ass to get it out. Right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because you can't just pull it out. So, that type of thing.
So when I was a kid, it really wasn't as well defined, this whole Karen thing either, because we didn't have the short videos, right? There were longer videos on YouTube, but not people pulling out their phones and capturing every waking moment on an account, right? So I didn't really have that defined either, but there was always those types of people that you're describing. Like there's like a park in our neighborhood. The neighbor had some like orange trees or whatever, and the orange trees would grow over their fence and like propagate oranges on the other side. And so kids would like pick them and eat them. They'd get fucking yelled at and shit. And they're like, those are my orange trees. Don't touch them. Even though they were never picked and they would just all fall to the ground and die anyway.
Actually, if it's in your yard, your airspace, you have.
I'm sure you do, right? It's the same thing as you cutting through the yard, right? They have full rights to their yard. It's just one of those things where they get pissy about something that they never use, never access. It doesn't hurt anybody, right?
Right. But should a storm come along and that tree breaks and the branch that's over your fence comes off and damages your fence, it's all on you, right? It's your responsibility. It's in your yard.
Yeah. What she didn't like is we would pick oranges that are they like come over the fence in the park area. Oh. So it's like they're like hanging over and like, you're as a kid, you see an orange, you're like, oh, cool, an orange, I'll eat it. Which I don't think really happens anymore. People don't eat things off trees anymore for whatever reason.
People don't realize things grow on trees.
Yeah.
I watched this video where this girl was buying lemons, and she had a lemon tree in her backyard. And this other girl was like, you have a lemon tree. Why are you buying lemons? It's like, because I like lemons. You have a lemon tree. It's like,
you can start for eating.
You can eat those?
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you always had the people that were like just super stuck up about every little thing. But now we just blast all over the place that they're like everywhere yelling at every minimum wage worker out there. I think people are just unhappy.
So one of the differences between the Karens of my day and the current Karens is the Karens of my day knew that somebody would hit them. The Karens of today are stunned when somebody hits them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, everything's a lawsuit now, right? You can't have a fight and like just duke it out. Like everything's a lawsuit. So
yeah.
I think they just get stunned when people are just like, nah, I'm sick of it now. Yeah. I don't care anymore. Yeah. I saw this one video of this girl who threw her drink on some worker or whatever and was like fucking with the worker, and the guy just got to the point where he's like, no more. And he just slammed her to the ground, and like she got knocked out or whatever, and everybody's just like, oh shit, like it finally escalated. But yeah, he just lost it, and he was like, nope, no more. And of course they're always shocked that like,
yeah, and some people like forget what culture they're in.
Yeah.
I was watching this video, it's not good, but it's hilarious. All right. It's in Russia. All right. So you got to know the culture. And you don't get to see like the full length of it, but you see this girl walk into the bar mad and yelling, and walks up to the guy and just slaps him. And she's probably not even done with her follow through when he just slaps her right back and knocks her right on her ass.
Yeah, things aren't always the same in other countries.
Yeah. And then she just walks right over to the bar and she just sits there and collects herself.
Yeah. So everybody seems to be on the same page with a female Karen, that they're called a Karen, right? However, in doing a little bit of research, it seems like no one is on the same page for the equivalent of a guy. There were very many names that people called them. I had a favorite. His name was Richard for obvious reasons.
Right.
But we actually wanted to put together, I'm going to put a poll. I think I can do it. Put a poll in the comments or in the chat or on the video or whatever that I want you guys to reply to. And I'm going to put some names out there. There was like Richard, Kevin, Jared for what other reason, Ken, Bob and Bill and Trevor and like all kinds.
So
of
let's
names,
pick.
right?
We'll pick 3. I'm thinking. I like Trevor as a name for
Yeah, so we'll go with Trevor, Richard.
and a third one.
Yeah, maybe Bill or Bob, some older, typical like.
No, it'd have to be like a William.
Oh, William.
Not Bill, but William.
William. Yeah. Does it get changed to Bill? Yeah. So we'll put those up there, and I want you guys to vote on what the or what the Karen should be of men, because it seems like nobody has that consensus.
Well, I just want. What does a male version of a Karen do?
I think it's the exact same thing.
I have not seen one.
See, I've seen some videos where like but they're usually not the same like age range. So typically when you think of Karen, you think of like older millennial, younger Gen X type of range, like somewhere in their 40s, right? But when you see the older Karen male, it's typically like boomer age.
Yeah,
typically
they're mostly get off my lawn.
Yeah, it's just grouchy in general, right?
Right. So, but they're not actually going out to other people's yards and that. So, what is the behavior of the?
To me, it's just it is what we typically talk about on this show of like the entitled boomer behavior. But I think the boomer men are more willing to like show that behavior than the boomer women are, right? Because like you said, that was at a different age, a different time where you couldn't be outspoken like that. Where the boomer guys are just like, they're just grouchy about anything. They'll complain to you about anything that they see in a store. There's lots of TikTok videos about these like older boomer men that are like acting in this whatever particular way. Yeah, Walter's a good one. That's what it'll be. Instead of William, Walter. Walter, Richard, and Trevor, I think is what we came up with. Yeah, so it just, I don't know. I think it's that like, it's just a grouchy boomer, but that's like not afraid to just be grouchy in wherever situation it is. Upset about everything, especially if it uses any type of technology involved in the process.
What happens if they're married to each other?
I think they fight and then have sex. I think so. I think it's like hateful like sex. Like they complain about each other during the process. Yeah, I think so. I don't know what happens when one needs a manager. I don't know where that goes, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's just a lot of complaining.
Like she starts the fight and he finishes it.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. So we were talking the other day too, and we were trying to ask this question because Karen, when you think of a Karen, they're typically white, right? Yeah, that's the typical mindset. We were like, oh, is there Karens for? Yeah,
can we be inclusive in our Karens?
Yeah. Right. Can we be inclusive in this group of people that just hate their life and hate the world, right? So we were trying to figure out if there's other Karens for the different races and ethnicities. So we're actually asking around. My wife is Mexican, and so I was trying to figure out what the Hispanic Karen was, and was asking these questions, and nobody could really tell me. And we have people on our project that are of Hispanic descent. We were asking them.
And they had no idea.
Yeah, they had no idea. They're like, oh, we don't really have like a name for them.
Then I used the Google.
Yeah, they might Googled it. And what'd you find?
We found a woman named Doña
Florinda.
Yeah, Doña Florinda. And evidently she was an actress.
In a show, in an older Mexican, I think Mexican-based show called El Chavo, I think, or something like that. Yeah. And when you look at her, you're like, oh, I get it now. She's got like the curls up already, like with the burner still in her hair and all that stuff. That's like one of the first pictures that pops up for this lady. And as soon as I texted the name to my wife asking like, oh, what about this person as like the Karen? She was instantly like, yes, absolutely. That's who it should be. So I haven't watched any of the shows to like prove that or anything like that. Maybe I can find a clip that I can put in without being demonetized or something like that, or yelled at for the show, or I'll at least throw her picture up there. But I think that's who we've decided as the Mexican Karen. Doña.
Yeah. Doña, no.
If you guys have any suggestions, feel free, write them in. But
so I will ask my Vietnamese mother if there is a Vietnamese, or at least some representative of the Asian culture. Oh, I know a Thai girl too. I'll ask.
Okay. So I think we'll follow up.
Yeah, we'll do a follow-up
episode and kind of like gather the names for these for these other ethnicities or races for Karens. And if you guys have any suggestions for those other ethnicities and like what ethnicity they are and what you're claiming the name should be, I think we should write them in.
And my Thai friend is probably actually watching.
Okay.
And so if not, then my friend of her friend is watching. And so put it in the comments. Ask her and then put it in the comments of what the Thai version of a Karen would be.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got Doña for like the Mexican.
Yeah, Karen, we get Doña.
So
we're going to do the vote. So all three of you active listeners
Active
can vote on it.
Yeah. So pick your favorite for the male. We got Doña. We got Karen. We got to figure out the rest of the ethnicities.
Yeah, because we're very inclusive here. Very, very inclusive. I'm looking at you. But as long as we're going through that, like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell, ding, ding.
Yep. Do all of those things.
Do all those things.
Anything else?
Anything else? Not on the Karen topic. I think we covered Karen.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have anything else then.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, that's an episode.
Yeah, that's an episode. Thank you guys for watching.
Peace be the journey.